All right, so we're going to talk about helmets today. Helmet setups, different types of helmets, some of the features of these helmets, and general price point of the different types of helmets I'm going to show you. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what's right for you, what's right for me, and what would make you choose either one type over the other. All right. Quick disclaimer, this is going to be a much shorter video than some of my other ones, or at least I hope it is. So I'm not going to go too crazy in depth, but I am going to talk about some of the general features and, again, hopefully shed some light on what these different types of helmets can bring to the table and their capabilities, and help you be able to choose what's right for you, and hopefully gain some knowledge. So without further ado, here we go. All right, so the first type of helmet I'm going to talk about is actually currently one of my two work helmets. That is the OpsCore Fast High Cut helmet. As you see here, if you've watched my videos in the past, yes, there is some dirt and some dust on the helmet. I am making these videos in between work, so this helmet gets used quite a bit. So it's currently set up, as I said, it's one of the two helmets that I currently use. It is currently set up with my light configuration, if you will, for work. But this is the OpsCore Fast High Cut Ballistic helmet. Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit about this, and then if you want to cover, if you like, I can cover some of the stuff that I have set up here and how I have it set up and why it is set up that way. All right, so first thing to talk about this helmet, biggest thing, as you can see from the side here, all right, it is a hat cut helmet. What that means is that there is a cutout in the ear portion to allow for some more ventilation, ease of use, and also the ease of adapting ear protection that will fit right in that slot right there, as opposed to having to wear ear protection underneath the helmet like the next type that we're going to talk about here. So that is the big defining factor with the high cut helmet. This particular example is an OpsCore. As I said, I think all three of the helmet types that I have here are Gentex/OpsCore, simply because all three of these helmets that I'm going to show you today are issued to me for work. But again, general characteristic, there are other companies that make high cut ballistic helmets. Team Wendy makes them. There's just a whole bunch of them. This one is my work one. So this is the OpsCore Fast Cut, Fast High Cut helmet, excuse me. All right. So a couple of characteristics about this guy. Let's talk, well, if you were to purchase this guy yourself, how much would it cost, right? So if you go on the Gentex OpsCore website, you're going to see a whole bunch of different variations. One like this one with a setup, of course, without all the peripherals, but with a setup such as the arc rail system and the OpsCore shroud up here, the thin shroud, as you can see with this guy right here. A setup like this, I think, runs something about $1,600 on the Gentex website. I think that if you look around, I'm sure you can find it for a few $100 less. It is probably the more costly of the three examples that I'm going to show you. But it is a very popular and ubiquitous helmet system within the military. Like I said, this one is one of two that I have been issued for daily use at work. So let's talk about the way it comes. The way this one is set up, as you can tell, it has the OpsCore shroud here that will accept any standard nods mount. It is kind of like a thinner version. It is metal, I believe. Thinner version than some of the other mounts that you can purchase separately. I believe this one just comes with this helmet. It does have the retention system, the bungee retention system already built in. All right. And let me see if you can see that there. So it flows right out of the rail system, and it has a slot to hold here. And of course, this retention system can be undone and can be used to help stabilize your night vision devices, right? Add a little bit of stability there so that it doesn't wiggle or shake or rattle or roll as much as normal. As far as the retention system on the inside, this one, I'm kind of an old school guy. All right. I was issued this helmet this way, and I haven't messed with it. Again, this is kind of like my light setup. So I use it for less than crucial work. So with this setup here, it's got the standard headlock retention system or OpScore retention system. Nothing fancy on the backside, a leather pad, and then the interior OpScore foam and padded situation in there. You can see all the wires and the mess that I have going on there. Hey, go ahead and criticize me in the comments. It is what it is, and it works fine for what I use it for right now. All right. So again, nothing fancy, fairly comfortable pads. This is the way it comes from OpScore. This is the way it stayed, and this is the way I use it. But it's got a pretty good retention system. The headlock system is pretty good because you can just slide these guys down or up, as the case may be, to make adjustments, and then they kind of lock on their own. Doesn't require any kind of extra fidgeting or anything else, so it's really good. And then on the backside, just a standard pad. Nothing crazy. The way I have it set up, you guys can see here, is my battery pack. This is my battery pack for my my NOD system. If you guys want to check out a video I did on the system that I'm currently running right now, I'll put the link at the end of this video. You guys can go check that out. It's 2-part, a little long, but it's pretty good stuff. So here's my battery pack. And then, yeah, like I told you guys, I'm an old school guy. So yes, I'm still running the Peltor Comtacs. They are dual leads because I have to run 2 radios at a minimum when I'm working. So yeah, I got it. A lot of the guys have moved on to some of the cooler, more Gucci stuff, like the amp system from OpScore itself. And maybe at some point I will, but I've got a bunch of these guys still sitting in my closet. They're all they've all been issued to me. And I don't know, man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's my mentality. So I am currently running these guys on the standard M3 mount, or M3, 3M mounts, right? That come with this system. And then, yeah, still running the 3M Peltors. Have no issues, dual leads. Back here, I think the only other thing that I have is my IR strobe system. This is a fairly inexpensive IR strobe system from, I believe it's Night Eyes. You know what? I don't want to misquote that or tell you something that it isn't. But it's a fairly inexpensive system. I think the system was like $100 and something bucks. I do have on my other helmet setup some of the crazy stuff, the kind of really cool guy stuff. But like I said, this is my light setup. This is a real light system. It's inexpensive enough that I can have 2 or 3 or 4 of them. You can slide it right out of the helmet and attach it to your body or to your person, which makes it kind of cool and very modular that way. Everything else of the helmet, the tape, as you see here, the Velcro, again, comes with the helmet. The way this setup is done right here, obviously there is a Velcro piece, kind of hard to see right now with all this crap hanging off from it, but there is a Velcro piece that also comes on the backside of this helmet setup. Some of the newer ones kind of have a better or more Velcro, so I've had to add some for some other devices that attach to my helmet. But my battery pack, for example, it's using Velcro, the Velcro that comes on the inside of the battery pack. And then I added this bungee system. I just kind of tied it off to the side. I'm hoping you can see all that right there. I kind of just tied it off to the side. This is a homemade system, nothing fancy. I didn't buy this. I added a tab from some stuff that, just surplus things that I have. And I haven't had any issues even when running a full battery pack. All right. I secure my dual comm leads back here. When I need them, I just snap them out and they're good to go. And that is pretty much it. You'll notice that I'm not running a counterweight on this system. I am not running a counterweight. I don't need a counterweight, to be honest with you. With the 31s that I'm running, they're fairly light. I really don't need a counterweight. Especially if I load this up with the 4 CR123 batteries that this guy takes as opposed to the standard AA ones. Really, really, really good. Again, I'm not a counterweight type of person, but again, that will depend on what you need and how you run your system. If you're running maybe some other devices on here, like clip-on thermals or things like that, that might add some more weight to the front of your head, well, then you might want to opt in for a counterweight system, even if you are running a battery pack. I don't find it to be necessary for myself, so I don't use it. And yeah, so this is the standard setup. Again, OpScore fast helmet. I think that on the OpScore helmet, on the OpScore website, it'll run somewhere between like $1,000 and $1,600 depending on your setup. But surely you can find this a lot cheaper somewhere else. Let's see here. We talked about the MVG mount already, so yeah, there's really not much to it. This is my setup for my OpScore fast, high cut, and again, ballistic helmet. All right, next up is the standard military issue Gentex low cut ballistic helmet. All right, we'll talk a little bit more about the setup that I have here, but defining characteristics of this guy, of course, it is a ballistic helmet system. It is not a high cut helmet system, and you'll notice right here that rather than having this cut out for your ear protection and other things, there is actually ballistic protection that goes all the way down and covers your ears, sort of like a shroud, okay? This is the more widely issued helmet system in the United States military today, or versions thereof. This is, again, an Army issue helmet, of course. And so what this offers that the high cut does not offer is some ballistic protection for your ear portion, right? So some of the side of your face and your ear portion. And again, it's not just ballistic as in taking around there, but also some protection from fragmentation or anything else from a blast. All right. The downside, of course, of this is going to be that there's less ventilation. If you're going to use ear protection, such as the Peltors that I run, then you're going to have to run them underneath the system and use the actual system that comes with those helmets, which might cause some discomfort or something like that while you're wearing it for a long extended period of time. Other than that, everything else is pretty much similar. The ballistic rating really is no different. Something like this, I think on the probably $400 to $500 range for a genuine American-built standard military standard protection helmet. Okay, and I want to be very careful when I say that, because there's a lot of imitators out there and a lot of weird, crazy Chinese stuff, or just other manufacturers that are using materials that are not necessarily the very best, and they're using manufacturing processes that, even though the materials may seem like the right ones, the way they're put together aren't necessarily the best. If you look inside, I have the helmet patch removed on this one. This is a system that, again, was also issued to me. I don't use this on a regular basis, but you could run any kind of helmet pad system in here. But you can see the build quality, and you can definitely, if you look at some of these knockoff helmets, you can see that there is a difference in the pattern of the Kevlar and everything else inside. It is noticeable. The weight difference is also noticeable. So again, I always advocate, use the real stuff. Like some of the other colleagues say, buy one, cry once. If you're buying this stuff, buy the real stuff. It's not about being cool or having Gucci equipment. If you're using it in a place where your life might depend on it, you're going to want the real things. The ones that have been tested, are tried and true, and will protect you. This current setup, I have the Team Wendy BOA system, or the Team Wendy Cam Fit system, with the BOA retention back here. This is a pretty cool system. As you can see, inside here, there is a retention system on the side. As far as the front, you can just clip this open, slide this up and down, clip it shut, and you're good to go. But for the sides and the rear, okay, this retention system is amazing. Love it, love it, love it. Nice thick pad back here. All you got to do is, if you want it a little bit tighter, go ahead and turn this retention system. You can hear those clicks. And that's going to bring these guys in tighter, all right? And fasten the helmet a little bit tighter around your head system in a very comfortable and still flexible way. But if you've ever used these guys, either in combat training or whatever it is, you start realizing these heavy helmets kind of start coming loose after a while. It's very, very convenient to be able to adjust the system on the fly. All right, and then go ahead and give it a little bit of tightening. You're back to where you were, where you're comfortable, and you can Charlie Mike from there. It's just a very comfortable system. So I really love it. This one is made by Team Wendy. I don't know the price of it. I think maybe $200 or $300 or maybe even less, to be honest with you. But it's a very good system. You can purchase it from Team Wendy's website or any of your favorite suppliers. I'm sure these are in no short supply. Other things I have set up on this guy are the same ARC style rail systems. Okay, so you can run any kind of devices. And then for the NVG shroud. Okay, so I'm using the Wilcox NVG shroud on this one. Same standard as all the helmets that I'm going to show you now. We'll be able to accept any NVG, any standard NVG mount that you use. What's interesting about this guy is that it can be adapted either for a single hole, such as this helmet is, or you can remove this backing here and you can use it as a 3-hole if you have a helmet with 3 holes drilled into it, right? Such as the Fast helmet or any other helmet system, or even maybe one of these guys that you purchase that have 3 holes rather than a center hole. So it is adaptable to either a single hole or a 3-hole. In this case, I'm running the single hole system. And I do have the bungee cord system as well. One of the downfalls of this guy is it doesn't really have a good retention point for these bungee systems. So I just kind of clip them up here. All right, and I'm good to go there. And then again, once I'm out my night vision, if I need to use these bungee systems, then I can just clip it onto my night vision itself and provide some more security there. Again, this helmet is bare bones. I really don't use it very often, although it was issued to me. The Velcro system, I can't remember if I got it with the Velcro system or if I added this at some point. But always good to have Velcro. You know, you have some space here for your little patches, whether you're using it for work and you need call sign patches, so on and so forth, or for any other attachment things that you can add to it. And then, of course, something up here for a beacon if you use a beacon, and then the standard system on the back side for battery packs, counterweights, or anything else that you might want to run there. Again, nothing crazy, nothing fancy. I'm kind of an old school dude, and if it works, I kind of don't like changing things. The only thing missing from this setup here, of course, are the helmet pads. I have no idea where these helmet pads are. Again, haven't used this for a while, but this is a standard Gentex, right? So Gentex, OpsCore, same company, all right? This is a standard military issue Gentex low-cut helmet. The Army calls it the Advanced Combat Helmet. You know, different services might have different names for it, or different agencies, but they're pretty much all the same, manufactured under contract by the same people. Again, you could probably find this dude for $400, $500 on the higher end, depending on how it's set up. I think after $500 or $600, you start getting actual setups that have genuine mounts, either by OpsCore or by Wilcox, and then the rail system, so on and so forth. So pretty good option. I don't want to call it a budget option. It is less expensive than the OpsCore Fast helmet, the high cut system, but we'll talk a little bit later about what might be good for you and why price isn't the only thing or the only factor that you should consider when choosing a helmet. So this is the Gentex ACH. We talk about this is ballistic. I know it kind of goes without saying, but this is a ballistic helmet as well. So I think this will be the last ballistic helmet I show you. So yeah, that's it. That's the setup. That is the low cut ACH. All right, and finally, the last helmet system that I want to show you. All right, this, as you can tell, looks a little bit different from the last 2 helmets that I showed you. This is the OpsCore Fast Bump helmet. I say again, the OpsCore Fast Bump helmet. All right. The biggest difference, other than its appearance, from the last 2 helmets that I just showed you is that this is not a ballistic helmet. You can probably gather that from the fact that it probably doesn't come through on camera, but it is plastic, right? Or some kind of plastic composite material. Okay, so it does not offer any kind of ballistic protection. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what it is first, and then we'll talk about what it's not. Okay, what it is a high-cut helmet system manufactured by OpsCore. Again, there are many different companies, Team Wendy, and a bunch of other companies that also manufacture bump helmets. This one is the OpScore Fast Bump. It has the same shape or characteristics as my Ballistic OpScore Fast Helmet, but of course in a lighter non-ballistic package, right? Same arc rail system. It is ventilated, as you can see on the top side, which adds another level of comfort other than just the weight reduction for the helmet system, and includes a bungee system that we've been talking about for the NVG retention. And the shroud on this one is built into the helmet. So as you can see, it is built into the helmet itself. It is not interchangeable. It is not something that you're going to have to purchase separately. It is indeed part of the helmet. So when you purchase this guy, the shroud is already included because it's built in, and the rails and the bungee retention system, of course, come along with it as well. As far as the Velcro is concerned, this Velcro comes with the helmet, I believe, when you purchase it. Again, I apologize if I'm wrong about some of the stuff. All of these helmets are issued to me, so I fortunately didn't have to purchase any of this stuff. But I believe the Velcro system also comes with it. You can set it up however you like. It comes as a separate package. Kind of has a little bit of a different Velcro setup on the backside. This is a more modern, like the SF, I believe, that OpScore calls it, setup, where it gives you a little bit more real estate with the Velcro, not just on the lower side, but also up here for any other attachments or peripherals that you want to use Velcro for. On the inside, all right, you can tell the padding is also minimal. The padding is minimal in order to allow for that ventilation to happen, all right, which is part of the comfort of this lighter weight non-ballistic helmet system, right? Still uses the headlock retention systems for the front. And the difference of this guy is that it has a similar retention system to the Team Wendy that I showed you earlier, except this one is manufactured by OpScore. Same kind of process. It has the sides down here that are fitted to a retention system, and you can just simply turn and tighten or turn and loosen. All right, very comfortable. A little bit different than the BOA system, because the BOA system you kind of have to pull out in order to loosen. This system can work itself looser. It's also a little bit stiffer, but like I said, this is the way it comes from OpScore. This is the OpScore system. It works for me, and I have no reason to change it. The pads are fairly comfortable pads. I think the biggest advantage of these pads is that they're very minimal. So they definitely allow for a lot of ventilation when you've got this thing on your dome piece. The helmet itself is very light. I do believe OpScore is also manufacturing a carbon composite version of this guy, as are some of the other manufacturers, in which case I believe it's a little tougher, but it is also a little bit lighter. So don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. I haven't browsed the OpScore website in a long time, but I do believe they offer a carbon composite of this as well. Big deal here is, like I said earlier, it is not for ballistic protection. It offers absolutely zero ballistic protection. All right. So you got to keep that in mind. However, outside of the ballistic protection, it has some added features due to the lighter weight and the ventilation. And on top of that, you're talking about a price range of maybe $200 or $300, I believe, if you try to purchase this from any of the retailers online or in person or whatever it is. $200 or $300 is a much smaller investment than some of these other helmets. And if you are not in need of ballistic protection, however, you do need a way to mount night vision device or any other things on your head, this is a great option. Also, although it does not offer ballistic protection, it is not just a cheap plastic on here. The way the plastic composite that it is made with, and then the internal pad system is set up, all right, it does offer some bump protection, hence the name, the bump helmet. Okay, so if you purchase genuine bump helmets, you will be receiving some kind of impact resistance in some way similar to what you see in hard hats. Probably a little bit less because hard hats are set up a little bit differently for a different type of working environment. However, there is some impact resistance to this helmet. So there is some protection for your head. It's just not ballistic. So keep that in mind. I was talking earlier about how the shrouds on all three of these helmet systems are able to accept any kind of standard helmet mount system. And I'll take this time and I'll use this helmet as an example. Okay. you should be able to accept any systems that you might be running. In this case, for example, the Wilcox G24 mount, right, with the dovetail interface. This is what I use on the regular. I have a bunch of these, and these are what are issued to me and I use. But there are other systems. If you are running, for example, if you are running a bayonet interface, such as this Noroto's interface, not a problem. This bad boy can also accept it right down here without any issues. There you go. All right. If you are running another mount system, such as this Wilcox G11, this is also a bayonet system, just made by Wilcox, a little bit lower profile. Like I said, any of these helmets will be able to accept it without any issues. So that's something to look for. And again, with this guy, you don't have to purchase a shroud separately. If you buy a bare bones helmet kit, this basically comes already built for you. So there are some advantages, not just price-wise, to the bump helmet system. Okay. Let me erase this right here. Man, here we go. All right. So that is the OpsCore Fast Bump Helmet. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what you might need, what might be the right answer for you. Any of these three, none of these three, or maybe a combination of both like I run myself. All right, the first helmet we talked about was a fast helmet. All right, when is a fast helmet convenient? Well, when you need ballistic protection. What a mess here. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. Well, when you need ballistic protection, right, and you are looking to use it along with peripherals, such as ear protection, or when you need some extra ventilation, a little bit lighter weight, this offers all the ballistic protection that you need in a more compact, lighter weight, and more versatile system. All right. As I said, I run these on a regular basis. Very comfortable systems. They have even fancier ones that you can pick out yourself. And yeah, they're really good. Do you have to have one of these? I don't know. Possibly not. It's not necessary. It is not the only ballistic option, but it is a comfortable one. Again, not just because it's a cool guy look or anything like that, but because it is genuinely lighter than the low cut ballistic brother. And it offers a little bit more versatility, at least when it comes to attaching ear protection and other peripherals, and a little bit more comfort as well. So this would be an option if these are the qualities that you're looking for. As far as its other low-cut ballistic brother, this guy right here, I keep referring to it as the ACH, the Advanced Combat Helmet. Call it whatever you will, but the low-cut ballistic helmet. What are the big differences? When might you choose something like this? Well, obviously there is a quite sizable price difference between this guy and its high cut brother. But there's other options to consider. Okay, there is some protection for your ears right here from shrapnel and some, and other ballistic objects, right? So this might be something you might be looking at if maximum protection is something that you are searching for. Obviously, if you are budget conscious, then this might also be a good way to get into ballistic helmets without spending all the money on a high-cut helmet. I keep this guy. I don't use it very often, but I keep this guy because it's still a great option. It's still great for me to use. It's great if I lend it to a family member or a friend to use on a range, or God forbid, a situation where we need something like this. So it is still a great option. Also, you can buy these guys bare bone and you can build them however you like. You can do the same with a ballistic helmet, with a high cut helmet, but these guys, being more budget friendly, allows you some more room to add whatever shrouds you like. On this guy, for example, you can run an OpsCore shroud. You can run this Wilcox mount that I'm using here. You can choose your rails, choose it without rails, however you want. These guys are very modular, very easy to find options and parts and accessories for them online, and they'll accept pretty much any retention system and pads as well that that OpsCore Fast helmet will. So if that's something that you're looking into, this might be a good option for you right here. All right. Downside Downside is no, it's not that you won't look as cool. Downside is that it weighs a little bit more. There is a little bit more weight, obviously, with the added ballistic portion for the ear here. It does add a little bit more weight. There's a little bit less ventilation. If you are going to be using any kind of over-the-ear ear protection, you can't really integrate it into the helmet without causing any kind of issues. So you're going to have to wear it on the interior of the helmet. I should mention that you can still use Peltors or over-the-ear ear protection in this guy. Okay, so you can run them. I have run them for many years. It is just going to have to be run inside the helmet system, which sometimes when you're using it for an extended period of time might cause a little bit of extra tension in your head. And for me, I tend to pick up a little bit of a headache after many hours of use that way. So that's a downside, okay? But again, if you're using this for range days or for training, or you're having this in reserve in the case that you might need it, this might be a good option for you. If you're issued this guy, you might want to just set it up however you like for whatever mission you are set to accomplish with it. Whether you are in the military or an agency, this is still a great option. I won't get rid of this guy. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to pick up one or two more because they're less expensive and they offer great protection. And last, the OpScore Fast Bump Helmet, or just any bump helmet in general. I think we just talked about this guy, so I don't want to beat a dead horse, but when do you need something like this, or when would you go for something like this? All right, when you're looking for some impact resistance, a lighter weight system, more ventilation, still having all the same capabilities to mount night vision devices, peripherals, ear protection, over or inner ear protection, all right? Similar system to any other helmet system. It will accept different pads. It will accept standard retention systems from different brands. So very versatile system. Obviously, price is also a factor with this guy. Like I said, $200 to $300, I think, is what something like this goes for. At least the OpScore ones do. So that is an option. Now, another interesting thing about owning a bump helmet, there are times where I don't need a ballistic helmet. However, I still need to operate with my night vision devices, my ear protection, and other stuff. That is why I'm issued this guy. All right, whether I'm doing some insane vehicle work, helicopter work, airborne operations, whatever it is, I don't necessarily need a ballistic helmet, or I just want to move light, right? I want to move light and I want to give up some protection for some ease of maneuver, then I'm going to go with this guy. So in my case, the helmets I use the most, of course, are my fast helmets, my ballistic helmets, and then these bump helmets. So I own both. Now I get it. I am issued these helmets, and there is a considerable investment when it comes to purchasing both a ballistic version and a bump version. But if you can do it, I think that's the best way, or the best balance right there. Owning both, using the one you need for the mission set that you have in front of you, and then going from there. So again, a lot of good uses for a bump helmet. All right, impact resistance is a big one. People tend to forget it's not just a plastic dome piece. It's got great impact resistance, so long as you're buying the real deal, okay? Don't opt for any Chinese knockoffs. Whether it's these guys or the ballistic helmets, don't do it. It's not worth it unless you're just doing it to, what do they call it? LARPing or whatever it is. Unless you're just doing it, which is nothing wrong with that. But if you're doing it for the look, yes, that's fine. But if your life depends on it, or if you're using an expensive night vision system or any other kind of thermal system or anything else that costs money, I'll tell you what, guys, these shrouds, these are meant to interface with genuine products, all right? They're meant to interface with genuine either Wilcox mounts, Norotos mounts, or you name it, right? And they're made with some semblance of quality. When you buy some of these Chinese knockoffs, you never really know, and I definitely don't want to hang a pair of $7, $8, $9, $10, $12,000 night vision goggles on a cheap, $50 Chinese helmet, not knowing whether I'm going to make a wrong move at night and those things are just going to fall to the ground and shatter or be destroyed or damaged beyond repair or whatever it is. Okay, even a ding isn't worth it, because even a ding with your night vision system, for example, is going to cost you way more than just paying a couple $100 extra for a genuine bump helmet from a reputable company. All right, so that's everything I think I want to say about the helmet systems. If you guys have any questions, you have any comments, or you want to add any points of clarification, please throw them in the comments below so that all of us can benefit from it. Subscribe to the channel if you guys want to see some more maybe reviews or examples of the different gear that not only do I use, but some of the gear that's out there. And there will be a link at the end of this video so you guys can watch one of the other videos. Go ahead and give that video a view and maybe a like if it's something that interests you. Thanks a lot for your time, and I'll see you guys in the next one.